Greetings, friend. Just a reminder that I'm holding a free training in September on how to be more effective in your communication by using Enneagram energy. I'll be talking about the 3 pathways that will help you connect more easily with those you're talking to. And I'll also be talking about what to look for in the 9 different energies of each Enneagram type. I'll be offering lots of thoughts and tips and strategies for working with each type, even if you don't know that other person's type. So I hope you'll join me. You can register for this training at swansoncoaching.com/training. Hi, friend. Welcome back to the show. I am so glad you are here. Today we are focusing on the growth paths of each Enneagram type, and we are doing it using the lines and arrows of the symbol. If you listen to my episode about this symbol, you will remember that the Enneagram symbol is not just a pretty shape or a satanic-looking shape, but it's a symbol of a living, flowing map. And it's a 3-dimensional symbol, too. So it doesn't just go around the circle, it goes up and down. And the lines you see on the symbol, they connect each type to 2 other types. I'm talking about the straight lines, not the circle, which connects all of the types. But each line connects 2 types, and in those 2 types, there are specific qualities that we can borrow when we're feeling good and healthy and growing, and also qualities and patterns that we can fall into when we are under stress. So those are the lines. And the little arrows that you see on most Enneagram symbols, some symbols don't have those arrows. That kind of bugs me because the arrows are important. The arrows show us the direction of flow along those lines. So think of them like the current of a river. It shows you the direction the river is going. And if you look at the Enneagram symbol and those arrows, the direction of the current for the Enneagram, it's twofold. First, you have the triangle connecting points 3, 9, 6, 3 in that order. And then you have the other numbers in the order of 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1. So when we are stressed, we tend to go with the flow or with the current. So for example, if you lead with type 3 and you get stressed out, you may easily take on the qualities of type 9, more so than the qualities of type 6, because this is going with the arrows. It's easier to go with than against. Another example, if you lead with type 5 and you're getting stressed out, it's much easier to take on the qualities of type 7 than type 8. 7 and 8 are the 2 numbers that type 5 is connected to. And 5 flows very easily into number 7 because that's the direction of those little arrows. Going with the arrows is sometimes called the direction of disintegration or stress. So it's very easy for many of us to be pulled into bad behaviors when we are stressed out. We're just not thinking clearly. Going against the arrows, however, this takes a little more work and conscious effort. So using those same examples, for type 3, this would be going to type 6. For type 5, this would be going to type 8. And we don't become another number when we travel those lines, but we pick up those qualities of either number, for better or for worse. And going against the arrows is sometimes called the direction of growth or integration. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about growth. So we're going against those arrows, against the current. We're going upstream, people. So we are following that arrow that opens us up, the direction that helps us become more balanced, more whole, and more who we truly are. We're not going the easy way with the flow that our ego or personality wants us to go. That's very easy. And yeah, going against the flow, swimming or paddling or even walking against a strong current, this is hard work. And this is what the Enneagram is all about. It's not there to make you feel good, although it can be very validating to know you are not alone in how you think, feel, and act. I hear this from many clients when they start learning the Enneagram. And it's also not meant to change you. If you walk against a strong current in a river and reach the other side, you are the same person you were when you started that journey. But hopefully you're a little wiser, maybe a little stronger, maybe you learned something about yourself, something about that river. So we are going to integrate healthy qualities from the type we're borrowing from, and that's the whole point of moving against the arrows. You can think of it like cross-training. So you are strengthening a muscle that you underuse. So the type you lead with can eventually move with much more ease and much less friction. Maybe it's more of a joint than a muscle. I'm going to have to rethink this metaphor. I'm all about the metaphors today. So one last thing before we get to each number's growth path, and that is this. So people are always asking me, okay, now what? I know my type. What do I actually do with this information? Well, the lines and arrows, they're a great place to start. And many people start here because these paths are the most obvious and visible in the symbol itself, those connecting lines and arrows. And they are just one tool in your cross-training toolbox when it comes to using the Enneagram. There are a lot of different ways to strengthen yourself. The Enneagram is a deep, layered map, and there are many ways to work with it. So, for example, you can use the lines and arrows, like we're going to talk about today. You can work on the passion or fixation of your type. Passions are where our hearts get stuck. Fixations are where our minds get stuck, and there's one of each for each type. You can work on balancing your wings. So the wings are simply the type that's on either side of your main type. So if you're a type 3, your wings are 2 and 4. If you're a type 5, your wings are 4 and 6. You can also work on balancing instinctual drives. So these are 3 instinctual variants found in the gut, which are the self-preservation instinct, the sexual or sometimes called one-to-one instinct, and the social instinct. You can balance those. That's a lot of work right there. You can also work on balancing your centers of intelligence. I've talked about those in previous episodes, or working on your repressed center of intelligence. And some people make their life's work just working on balancing their centers. So my point is, all of these things are valid and beautiful ways to use the Enneagram to learn about ourselves, to learn about others. It really depends on where you are in your journey of self-growth. I will say that regardless of which path you take, it all starts with the same thing, which is self-observation. Observe yourself and become aware of your patterns. It's truly that easy, because we have to become aware of what we are currently doing if we want to make better choices. We have to become aware of those unconscious patterns that are running the show. The format I'm going to use for talking through these 9 growth paths. I will briefly name what each type longs for. I'll describe the growth path, why it matters, and then I'm going to offer a few small practices to try for each type, and finally, what to watch out for. So I invite you to take notes or follow along with a journal if that helps, or just listen and notice how your body responds. Our bodies do not lie. If there is a visceral reaction, like you kind of get squirmy or uncomfortable, or maybe there's a sense of opening in the chest or the heart, or you're kind of like getting shifty in your seat or as you're walking, notice those things. So this is the self-observation piece I mentioned earlier. And the more we notice and observe ourselves, the more present we will be with ourselves and with others. And then that invites space for making different choices. All right, let's start with the body types of 8, 9, and 1. So type 8. So the growth line moving against the arrow is toward type 2. So 8s, they long to be strong. They long to be self-directed. Control and autonomy are super important for this type. And the line to 2 invites the 8 to open their heart, to invite in warmth, care, and the courage to receive. And this kind of vulnerability does not weaken the 8, it rounds out their strength. And this matters because when 8s lead only with force, people brace. It's not a great way to be with others. And borrowing from 2 lets attachment show. So you still protect. 8s are all about protecting. And now you also connect. So type 2 is probably the most relationship-oriented type on the Enneagram. Might also be the most stereotypical feminine energy. Very soft, very open. They're all about connecting to others. And type 8 is very strong, very stereotypically masculine energy. So isn't it interesting that these two are connected by a line. There's a reason for that. So in the body of a type 8, you might feel your chest open. You might feel your stance softens, maybe leans back a little bit instead of always pushing forward. Your touch gets lighter. So in relationship, you reveal motive on this growth path. So you might say, I am pushing, I'm moving forward because I care about this and I care about you. And there's the vulnerability to understand that underneath that strong exterior is a mushy marshmallow. There's a lot of love and a lot of care for the other person. So being able to show that is the move of this type. So to all my 8s out there, I invite you to try 4 things, and you can try 1. You can play around with all 4. So 1, name a soft emotion on purpose. You can say, this matters to me, and here is why. Number 2, offer support and care in the other person's language, not yours. So whatever that language may be, expand your way of offering support by not only fixing and doing. 3rd practice receptive presence. And to do this, try 3 minutes, which may seem like an eternity, but I promise it's not. Try 3 minutes of listening without interrupting. And the 4th practice, ask for a small favor daily so you can train your receiving muscle. So what to watch out for? So look out for rescuing as a way to stay in control. Unhealthy 2 energy can jump into help or rescue mode even when it's not wanted. Healthy 2 energy respects autonomy. Offer support with consent and let people be responsible for their own choices. So let's move on to type 9. The growth line for 9 is moving against the arrow toward type 3. So 9s long for harmony, inner calm, and peace. The line to 3 invites agency, visibility, and momentum. It does not erase your gentleness. It gives it a steering wheel. So why does this matter? So when 9s merge with others, that's Enneagram terminology there, it's said that 9s tend to merge with all the other 8 numbers. It's also why they're at the top of the Enneagram symbol. They can see all the other numbers very clearly, and they tend to merge with them instead of being themselves. So when they do this, priorities tend to blur and time disappears. So if we take from the 3 and borrow that energy, the 3 creates focus, initiative, and a healthy pride in your contributions. So peace here in this space is not being passive. It is engaged presence. There's that word presence again. So how does it feel in the body? So in the body, your core wakes up, your posture lifts, you get taller, your gaze looks forward instead of looking down, looking at your phone, looking at others. In relationships, you voiced your preferences earlier. This can be really hard for type 9 to know what they want and to state what they want. So you enter the room as yourself, not as an echo of someone else or of the group. So 4 things I invite type 9s to try. Number 1, start the day by naming one non-negotiable thing that belongs just to you. Number 2, use micro deadlines. Set a timer for 20 minutes, then do a short reset. Number 3, say, I think or I want in the first sentence of a response when someone asks you a question. This can be really hard, but I invite you to try it. And finally, number 4, track and celebrate what you complete because small wins create momentum. Sometimes getting started and keeping going can be really difficult for this type. So watch out for when you are utilizing that 3 energy that you are not chasing gold stars and losing your center. Unhealthy 3 energy is only about achievement. Healthy 3 energy is purposeful and sincere. So keep asking yourself, does this choice align with my values and my real capacity? and think of yourself first when you answer that question. So moving along to type 1. The growth line moving against the arrow is toward type 7. So this is another interesting one, like 2 and 8. So 1s, they long to be good, and they long to live in alignment with what's right. So these are the rule followers of the Enneagram. The line to 7 invites levity, flexibility, and joy. So it does not cancel integrity, it just softens the edges so that the goodness can breathe, so it's less rigid. Why does this matter? So this matters because when ones rely only on willpower and that inner critic, life can feel like a constant audit. So borrowing from 7s, this adds play, curiosity, and also optimism. You still can tell the truth and keep your standards, both and here, but you stop using perfection as a shield. So in the body, it's less rigid. There's more movement, there's fuller breaths, there's a little more bounce in your step, the jaw relaxes. I see a lot of type 1s who have a really tense jaw. In relationships, your corrections become invitations, not indictments. You laugh more, you laugh sooner. You allow a B+ solution instead of A+ when that serves the moment. So here are 4 things for my type 1s to try. 1. Schedule delight and joy like you schedule duty. 10 minutes even counts. Make it short, but schedule it in. Number 2, when that inner critic pipes up, ask, what would make this easier or more fun? Number 3, practice good enough in low-stakes places like dinner, maybe a draft of an email, a messy art project. Make it good enough instead of perfect. And finally, number 4, name 3 things that are already working before you name what you think or what your inner critic thinks needs to improve. So watch out for fake positivity. Unhealthy 7s are masters at avoiding those challenging emotions or anything negative for that matter. Real healthy 7 energy, this includes presence, not avoidance. If you are pretending to be light while swallowing that resentment, notice that. Notice that. Self-observation. So type 2. So the growth line for type 2s moving against the arrow is toward type 4. So this is another interesting one. So type 2 is the most relationship-oriented on the Enneagram. Type 4 can be the most inward-looking on the Enneagram. So you see where this is going. So 2s long to be loved. They long to be needed. They're very others-referenced. The line to 4 invites emotional honesty and more self-referencing. It does not make you self-absorbed. It makes your giving and helping cleaner, without the need to be acknowledged or appreciated or being given something in return. So why does this matter? So this matters because when type 2s ignore their own needs, that care can turn into quiet resentment. Borrowing from 4 brings depth, boundaries, and the courage to say, this is what I feel, and this is what I want. Self-referencing can be so helpful for type 2. So in your body, your chest softens from always reaching forward, and you start resting back into the spine. In relationships, you ask for reciprocity without keeping score. How many of my type 2s out there keep score? So you share your interior world without trying to manage someone else's reaction. I invite you to try these 4 things if you lead with this type 2 energy. So before you offer help, ask, what do I need right now? And also ask, what do I want in return for my help? Number 2, replace mind reading with a clear statement. For example, I would love to check in with you this afternoon. Number 3, create a small ritual that is only for you. 5 quiet minutes, a walk by yourself, or maybe a playlist of music that you love. And the 4th practice saying no. And this can be a graceful no. I'm so sorry, I'm unable to help you today, but here's what I can offer. So what to watch out for? Unhealthy type 4s can be dramatic. And yes, this is an overplayed stereotype that type 4s are dramatic. All types can be dramatic in their own way, but do not use dramatic expression as a substitute for directness. Healthy 4 energy is honest, it's grounded, you can tell the truth in simple sentences and then leave space. So type 3. So the growth line moving against the arrow is toward type 6. So 3s long to be valuable and effective, and when unhealthy, they over-identify with their image. So these are the true achievers of the Enneagram. The line to 6 invites loyalty and truth over image, collaboration over self-promotion, and courage, true courage, that includes vulnerability. So this matters because when 3s run only on results, they can really lose touch with what is true for them and true for their family or their team. Borrowing from 6 builds steadiness. It builds a sense of shared ownership and also resilience that holds when the spotlight on what they achieve turns off. And it will turn off. And when that happens, look to 6, borrow from 6 to reground yourself. So in the body of a healthy 3 moving to 6, this feels like the breath dropping into the belly, the pace of everything just slows, the eyes soften. In relationships, maybe you ask more questions. Maybe you listen for the concerns of others. And you define success with values, not just metrics. So for my type 3s out there, I invite you to try 4 things. Number 1, before a big push, ask, what would success mean for others involved? Number 2, share one work in progress with trusted people and ask for honest feedback. Receiving feedback can be very difficult for 3s because they so identify with what they do. So challenge yourself if you lead with 3. Ask for honest feedback and take it. Number 3, name a fear out loud and take the next step anyway. Number 4, practice credit sharing and name who else has made this possible. Here's how we did it together. So watch out for overcorrecting into doubt. Unhealthy 6 energy can be really anxious and fearful. Healthy 6 energy is cooperative and very courageous and brave. So know that you can question the plan without questioning your worth. So type 4's growth line is moving against the arrow toward type 1. So 4s long for identity and meaning, and they can really get lost in their imagination and fantasy as well as the past. The line to 1 invites structure, it invites forward movement, it invites being present, and also reality testing. It doesn't clip your creativity. It gets you out of fantasy land. It gives it a frame. So why does this matter? So when 4s linger only in feeling, their vision can stay in the clouds. Nothing gets done. So borrowing from 1 brings discipline, brings clarity, and the satisfaction of actually finishing something. The sensitivity of the 4 turns into service. So in the body, there is length in the spine, a steadier breath. There's a lot of breathing going on here today. There's a steadier breath. In relationship, you bring accountability and action to your empathy and your emotional intelligence. You're able to show your work, not just your mood. If you are type 4, I invite you to try these 4 practices. 1, set yourself small containers for expression. Small, maybe 15 minutes to get it all out, then stop and move on and know you can always return later to that expression. Number 2, translate an emotion into an action. I feel longing. I will email that proposal. 3, use a checklist or a to-do list to support your future self. 4, end each day with one completed thing, regardless of size. Watch out for rigidity that turns into self-punishment. So there's that rigidness of the one and that inner critic of the one coming forward. Unhealthy ones can be very rigid and very unmoving. Healthy one energy is principled, it's humane. So if you catch the inner critic getting loud, return to your compassion, which is what you're good at, and just try again tomorrow. Okay, on to the head types of 5, 6, and 7. So type 5, the growth line moving against the arrow is toward type 8. So 5s long to be capable and resourced. The line to 8 invites embodiment, decisive action, and fuller participation. Action and participation do not have to drain you, which can be a belief that many 5s have. And the move to 8 teaches the 5 how to spend energy where it matters. So when 5s retreat to conserve, opportunities pass and relationships cool or even disappear. Borrowing from 8 activates courage, presence, and a healthy use of power. You can come out from the balcony and step on to the dance floor. It's okay. So in the body, your feet feel heavier on the ground, your shoulders widen, your voice strengthens. In relationship, you say what you think without needing time to think and process before you speak, and you let people feel the weight of your words and conviction. Here are 4 things for type 5s to try. First, move first, refine second, send the draft before you feel ready. Number 2, set a daily minimum dose of contact. Make 1 call, 1 coffee date, 1 question asked in real time, and if daily is too much, go for weekly. Number 3, choose a cause or a project to back publicly or volunteer, even in a small way. And finally, number 4, practice speaking and communicating without first having to rehearse what you're going to say. Trust that the right words will come out. So watch out for blasting people with information in a pushy, forceful way. Unhealthy 8 energy can be a bulldozer. Healthy 8 energy is straightforward, it's protective, and don't forget your heart while you strengthen your back. So the growth line for 6 is moving against the arrow toward type 9. So 6s long for safety and support. And the line to 9 invites inner quiet, it invites trust in your own authority and a wider view. Does not make you passive, it just slows those spinning thoughts so you can act with clarity. So why this matters? So when 6s live in contingency plans, nervous systems get so tired. So borrowing from 9 brings a steadiness and a felt sense of okayness. From that steady, calm place, decisions can be much cleaner. So in the body, the jaw softens, maybe the shoulders drop, the breath evens out. In relationships, conversations breathe. You let them breathe. You don't have to ask questions all the time. You consult and trust your inner boardroom before asking your questions. So here are 4 exercises for type 6s to play around with. 1, use a 2-column list and write down facts I know and stories I am telling myself and others. So facts and stories. Number 2, practice a pause before seeking reassurance and ask, what do I truly think? Number 3, ground through the senses. So take in 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, 3 things you feel, 2 things you smell, 1 thing you taste. This process can take only a few minutes, but can be very grounding, especially for type 6. Number 4, decide small things quickly with purpose, then follow through and celebrate those decisions and accomplishments. So what to watch out for? So watch out for numbing out and calling it peace. Unhealthy 9s can really disassociate from themselves and from their bodies, which is why it's so important to ground yourself. Healthy 9 energy is present and it's responsive. If you feel foggy, get up, go for a short walk, and return to 1 concrete action. So type 7, the growth line moving against the arrow is toward type 5. So here's another one of those interesting movements like types 2 and 8 and 1 and 4. Type 7 can be very chaotic energy. Type 5 is very inward energy. So 7s long for freedom. They long for happiness and satisfaction. Unhealthy 7 energy can be big, can be chaotic, can be full of lots of ideas, lots of thinking energy that is scattered in a million different places. So the line of 5, it invites focus, it invites depth and deliberate pacing. It does not steal your joy. It helps you drink it in and enjoy it all the way down. So why does this matter? It matters because when 7s chase variety, experiences can really blur together and pain can hide out under all of that motion. Borrowing from 5 creates patience, discernment, and a richer inner life. You learn the difference between excitement and fulfillment. So in the body, everything slows down. So the breath slows down, the eyes settle, the hands rest, even that jimmy leg may stop bouncing around. In relationships, you track a single thread to the end. You slow down and listen instead of always adding humor to someone else's story. And here are 4 things for my type 7s to play around with. Number 1, choose one project and put guardrails around it. Get a clear scope of what you want to do, create a clear finish line, and stay within those guard lanes until you cross that finish line. Number 2, practice single tasking for 20 minutes, then take a play break. Number 3, do some journaling on this prompt. What am I avoiding right now? Number 4, build a closure ritual so that when something ends, you mark it and celebrate it. So watch out for withdrawing into your head to avoid feeling. Both 5s and 7s lack a line to the feeling center of intelligence, and unhealthy 5s can be distant and analytical. Healthy 5 energy is present, it's curious, it is not cold. So keep checking in with your body, even while you focus your mind. So those are the 9 types and the lines of integration or growth. And if you are not sure about your type yet, try noticing which description made your body relax or perk up. Again, I mentioned this at the top of this episode. Often our bodies recognize an invitation to growth before our head recognizes that. And this is the brilliance of the body center of intelligence. So play around with this. Try one small practice I named. Do it for a week, 5 days out of the week maybe. Keep it short and simple. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice how it feels in your relationships. Maybe just one relationship. And at the end of the week, adjust it if it helped. Keep it. If it didn't help, try a different practice. Or maybe try on a different type and a different practice if you're not sure of your type. And remember that growth through these lines is not a single leap. It's not a one and done. It is a steady movement and it takes constant practice. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it takes constant practice because we're always going to be at home in the type we lead with. Our personalities are like a rubber band. They tend to snap back into shape. There's another metaphor. Okay. Rubber band, they tend to snap back into shape, and that shape may not always be supportive of who we really want to be. So keep stretching yourself, keep expanding your type. You're not changing your type, you're borrowing from the types you're connected with. You're not abandoning your type, you're expanding it for better or for worse, so make it for better. And a final thought about these lines and arrows. Some teachers will invite you to start here with the work that goes against the arrow, which is what I covered today. The line going with the arrow, with the flow, that direction is a bit easier. And again, that's the direction we tend to go if we are stressed out. However, we can grow from that line as well. So we can take on healthy and or unhealthy qualities of both types that are the ends of those lines that extend from our type. But again, many teachers invite you to start with the work that goes against the arrow. So I'm curious, what are you taking forward from this episode? What have you learned about yourself, if anything? If you found something useful here, I invite you to please share the episode with a friend who is also doing this work. And if you would like more support, especially around communication or relationships, I invite you to join me for a free training I'm holding. It's all about more effective communication through the lens of the Enneagram. You can save your spot by signing up at swansoncoaching.com/training. Until next time, take good care of yourself and remember to always stay curious.